Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Vegan Duet podcast. With the new year on the horizon, we thought it would be great to give you guys some tips on how to go vegan or how to stay vegan in 2021. The first step to transitioning to veganism is to do your research. Dun, dun, dun. There is no doubt whatsoever that going and staying vegan takes a significant amount of knowledge and preparation. You need to know about the reasons to go vegan, what food is already vegan, and what vegan substitutes are available in your area. You also need to know some basic healthy vegan recipes. You also need to make sure that you are getting the right amounts of each essential nutrient by eating a whole food plant-based diet and taking vegan supplements as well. For more information about vegan sources of essential nutrients, check out Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen, as well as our own Vegan on a Budget grocery list. Once you've done an adequate amount of research, you can start transitioning to the next step, which is actually transitioning to a plant-based diet. Dun, dun, dun. Unless you're already predominantly plant-based, your body's been used to eating meat products and animal products for so long that it needs maybe a couple of weeks to fully adjust to a completely plant-based diet. So we would recommend using a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, or even a month to wean yourself off of animal-based products and slowly add in vegan substitutes instead. Most people confuse veganism with being plant-based. However, being plant-based is just a diet, while veganism is a lifestyle. So as a vegan, it's also important to make sure that anything else you purchase is completely plant-based or not derived from animals at all. So now let's go back to the topic of changing your diet gradually to a vegan diet. So when substituting, it is important to start by replacing the non-vegan food that you consider is the least essential to your diet first, and then gradually working your way up to replacing the non-vegan food that you either eat the most of or you consider the most essential in your diet. For example, if you occasionally eat milk chocolate and if it's not really something that you eat regularly, then you can start by replacing the milk chocolate first with vegan chocolate. But if you rely on meat for protein or iron and you regularly eat it, then it may take some more effort to replace meat and find vegan substitutes that contain these nutrients. In that case, you would gradually reduce your consumption of meat over a few weeks and simultaneously try to find vegan alternatives. Once you have transitioned or are transitioning to veganism, the third step is to be prepared to answer any questions that you may be asked or to combat any external pressure. Dun, dun, dun. There is still a lot of confusion and misinformation surrounding veganism that is just propagated by media. So because of this, it's almost certain that a lot of your family and friends will be not so supportive of your decision of going vegan. To address their doubts and queries, it's important to be knowledgeable about different aspects of veganism. Memorizing comebacks to basic questions can be extremely useful, especially if you need to come up with a very quick response to a question. For instance, one of the most common questions non-vegans have is, where do you get your protein from? But this can be answered with a quick list of vegan sources of protein, like tofu, beans, and tempeh. Answering complex questions can be a little more tricky. Even we have trouble with that sometimes. One solution to this would be to compile a document of links to sources such as articles or websites. When selecting sources, make sure to pick ones that are peer-reviewed, or reliable resources that you can quote from. Also make sure that the articles and websites are by well-established organizations. Avoid using opinion articles because most of the times these articles will be biased by the author's personal opinion and cannot be considered reliable sources. A pro tip on combating articles that are sent by non-vegans is to check the funding. So most of the times, non-vegans will send opinion articles or articles that are actually funded by the dairy and meat industry that promote eating meat or dairy to be healthy. So as vegans, we want to avoid sending industry-funded articles in response to them because most of the times these articles are biased by the industry's interest to make a profit off of whatever they're promoting. Once you're vegan, the final step is to remind yourself of why you went vegan in the first place and join supportive vegan communities. Dun, dun, dun. As we mentioned before, going vegan can be extremely difficult, especially when your family and friends do not support you. Therefore, it is natural and completely understandable that you might feel pressure a lot of the time to revert to non-veganism to avoid being judged or challenged. However, try to remember that there are plenty of important reasons to be vegan and that you are doing a great service to animals, humans, and the planet. Engaging in vegan activism is a great way to stay vegan because you are not only educating yourself on the benefits of veganism, but you are also spreading all the knowledge that you have gained to others. It's totally normal and completely understandable to be uncomfortable sharing information about veganism or exposing the animal agriculture industry, just because there's so much social stigma surrounding veganism and the idea of being vegan and being an active vegan. However, less than 1% of the world's population is vegan, and since veganism is largely a grassroots movement, it's so important for vegans to empower other individuals who are considering going vegan and give them a sense of community and belonging and a feeling that there are other vegans out there to support them in their journey. So if you're interested in becoming more active in the vegan community, we would recommend starting out with a couple of posts a week, getting used to the idea of answering small questions here and there, and then building up from there. To feel even more supported, you can follow intersectional vegans on social media and join online vegan communities. These are our 4 steps to staying or going vegan. We also highly encourage any of you who are interested in going vegan to try Veganuary this new year. This program gives you free access to vegan recipes, meal plans, and other important tips. As always, feel free to reach out to us with any questions you may have about veganism. We support you and wish you the very best in your journey to a more humane, compassionate, and sustainable lifestyle. Finally, we'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you next time on another episode of the Vegan Duet podcast.